Okay, everybody, welcome to today's virtual presentation. My name is Amanda Mills. I'm one of the assistant directors of undergraduate admissions at Stony Brook. And today's virtual presentation will be about the student experience at Stony Brook. First, I want to congratulate each of you on your admission this year to Stony Brook University. Big congratulations, round of applause to all of you. We really appreciate you joining us today to hear from our extra special guests, Dr. Rick Gatteau, the Vice President for Student Affairs, and Dr. Rick McClendon, Assistant Vice President for Student Affairs and Dean of Students. Now, just as a reminder, we do use webinar Q&A, so during the event, if a question pops up that you're thinking about, you can put it in the Q&A. We'll save some time for your questions later. And if you have a question that's not really related to today's topic, you can still ask those, or you may also email us at enroll@stonybrook.edu. So now I will pass it off to Rick.
Great. Now, and the confusing part, Amanda, we have two Ricks in this. So to make it simpler, I go by VP Rick, and then we have Dean Rick. So,
okay,
but good. We always, our line is two Ricks are better than one. So we're all good, and we're really happy that you've joined us this evening, or if you're from another time zone this afternoon or this morning. So wherever you are in the world, we're so happy you could be with us. Amanda, thank you again for the invitation. And we're just so excited to welcome you all to Stony Brook. Congratulations on your admission to Stony Brook, as well as in considering your, I'm sure, many options. And part of our job tonight is to share with you a little about, as Amanda called it, the student experience. But I'm going to rename it the Seawolf experience, because you're all now, as you're admitted to Stony Brook, we view you as a Seawolf. And that's an important identity for all of our 18,000 undergraduate students at Stony Brook. So let me share a little about myself, and then I'm going to share a bit about the work that we do in student affairs and broadly the student, as I said, the Seawolf experience. And then I'm going to pass it to our awesome Dean of Students to share more specifically about student life on campus. So as I shared, I go by Rick, and I've been at Stony Brook now 23 years. So it's been an amazing, I spent most of my career actually at Stony Brook. I am a native Long Islander, so it's been really amazing to not only work at Stony Brook, but be near my family as well for all these years. I am a twin. Don't worry, my twin brother does not work at Stony Brook, so there are not three Ricks in the room. And it has been an amazing experience. I actually started my career working in residence life, and then came to Stony Brook in academic advising, so working with students about scheduling and their major selection and focused on retention, graduation, and then joined our student affairs team about 8 years ago. And it's been really an incredible experience. And I think a few things you'll find about our Stony Brook student body is that they're incredibly diverse. They're very bright, highly motivated. They want to be engaged leaders on our campus. And truly, they're just a fun group. One of the things that Dean Rick and I have the opportunity to do is meet with students throughout the year with our university president and have dinners throughout the year. Because one of the things we want to always do is continue to make the student experience better and better. And the way we do that is by soliciting feedback from students, both through surveys as well as through these individual dinners with students. And again, just had a dinner last night with students, and it was incredible. A group of first-year students, in fact, hearing about their experience so far, and they just said such wonderful things. So I hope you'd feel the same way if you make the decision to come to Stony Brook as well. But let me share a little about just overall within student affairs. If you compare it maybe to your high school experience, we're kind of maybe your guidance counselor area and your Dean of Students area and the counseling and support areas all blended together, but expanded obviously because we're a very large campus, but we also try to make it a very personal experience for you. And a couple things that I just want to share that I think are important about who we are as an institution, as a division, is that we focus on care and support. And we know that you have a lot of choices, a lot of decisions to make over the next month or two. And we want you to know that at Stony Brook, you are not a number. Like, you are a name, you're a person. We care about all the identities you bring to Stony Brook. We value diversity, equity, and inclusion in the work that we do. We provide holistic, comprehensive services to students, while we may be kind of the outside the classroom experience, we really view it as a partnership with the academic part of the university. When you think about a college education at Stony Brook, you're only in class about 18, maybe 20 hours a week. So there's a lot of time you're outside the classroom. And that's where the student affairs team comes in a very big way, because we want to make sure you make the most of your experience. And so I view it as our mission is to create an exceptional experience for you. And that's the work that we do every single day. So what I want to do is just cover kind of three different areas within student affairs that I think for students and for family members who are joining us are all really important parts of your academic journey at Stony Brook. First is really, I would say, the foundational part of the work that we do focuses on health and wellness. And I would say throughout my career, health and wellness has always been an important part, but it wasn't until a thing called COVID happened when we all, I would say, started realizing that we often take our health and wellness for granted. And then when you don't have that and you don't feel safe because of your health it's not safe, you're not safe and well, it really makes you question, can I do what I need to do? And your goal as a student is to do well academically, earn a good GPA, and earn a degree, and have a great experience doing that. And it kind of, halted in 2020, obviously, and we had to reimagine, re-envision, as I'm sure happened in your high schools, how you go about doing your schoolwork. And so that has allowed us to really consider, how do we look at health and wellness in this very holistic way? And so at Stony Brook, there are many, many ways that we focus on that very issue. And I just want to share a few of the offices that work with our students that really is critical in making sure that you're successful at Stony Brook. So we have one place I call kind of our home base, which I'm really proud of. It's something we built up tremendously over the last 5 years, and that is our student support team. And we name it SST, but student support team, they serve really as what I call the concierge, although they will not pick up your dry cleaning. They are the entity on campus where if you don't know where to go, because sometimes people view us that we're a large, complex institution, they are really there to hold your hand and guide you through anything. That if you don't know where to go, we say go to student support. If there's a problem you're having, you need to solve, that is your go-to person and go-to team. And they are really amazing. And they know everybody on campus, so they know how to get your questions answered and to help resolve issues. So don't sit in silence, go to their team and get help. So they're where I will always direct people for immediate support. But beyond that, if you're having really concerns about depression, anxiety, stress, relationship issues, we have an amazing counseling center we call CAPS, which is Counseling and Psychological Services. We also have a full student health services on campus with a pharmacy. And all these services are included in your tuition and fees. So they're just there for you to use. We also have, for students with documented disabilities, an amazing accessibility support center. We're really proud. We are not only obviously the #1 public university in New York, but we're also proud that we have the most number of students registered with disabilities at Stony Brook than any other SUNY school. So that's really a point of pride for us. We want to see our students succeed, and this is a way that we provide additional support. We also have our Center for Prevention and Outreach, which is a critical arm about education in advance about things, and those are things about mitigating toxic drinking, about mitigating sexual assault, also ensuring that we mitigate any risk for suicide. So these are issues that obviously within this age population are ones that have to be dealt with. And so we take a very preventative approach, education approach in the work that we do. And we have an amazing group, and some of you may choose to be participants in this, is an amazing group of peer counselors and peer advisors in our CPO area. So great opportunity to, again, to do this work as early as we can with you so that we kind of head off any concerns that may come down the line. And the last thing I'll mention in the health and wellness space, which is really important for the physical health because it connects to mental health, is our recreation and wellness center. So we have a beautiful, beautiful facility. If you've come to campus, you've probably seen it on the tour. It's absolutely phenomenal. I was talking about it with students last night and they love it. We have fitness classes, a great weight room. I mean, every piece of equipment you could imagine. And it becomes a social place too for our students. So I just we look at the health and wellness in this truly holistic model. And the last thing I'll mention about health and wellness is around a service we implemented a few years ago called Timely Care. And that is truly amazing. It provides wraparound 24/7 services, because if you were like me in college, you're up till 2 in the morning, you don't get a lot of sleep, and maybe that's when you want help sometimes. And Timely Care is a virtual option both for counseling and medical help as needed. Again, available 24/7 to our students. So that's another great service that's highly, highly utilized and well received by our students. So that's health and wellness in a nutshell. That's important. The next thing I wanted to share is about our residential life area. Obviously, we do have about 20% of our entering first-year students do choose to commute or live off campus. And Dean Rick's area provides a lot of support for that students, which we'll talk a little about in a bit. But about 80% of our first-year students live on campus in their first year, and we provide housing. As long as you're there for a first year, we do guarantee housing throughout your 4 years at Stony Brook. Lots of different housing options, traditional style. We have suite style, we have apartments with kitchens. And so as you move up the ranks in terms of your credits, that gives you more ability to choose different kinds of housing options on campus. We make sure that the residential experience is something just super special. That's where I started my career in res life. So it's personally important to me to help build community. We do a lot of programming. If you're not familiar with the way many residence halls operate, we do have an undergraduate resident assistant that works with the residents and lives with the residents on that floor in that suite area. And then we also have a professional live-in hall director in every residence hall on our campus, which is phenomenal. And they work so hard to make the experience of living on campus so positive for our students. So that's another area that you'll see. We do a lot of work with faculty to link the academic experience with inside the residence halls, because we view the residence halls as also an extension of the classroom in many ways. Third area I just wanted to highlight a bit is around career development, because that's another essential part of the student experience. And the reason being that many people go to college now, and again, I still will say, I hope everyone listening wants to go to college because you have an interest in learning, that you want to become your best self, and you want to learn and become a critical thinker, a problem solver, you want to build a skill set, and that's great. But we also recognize too that in addition to college as a place for learning's sake, it's also a place where you go because you want to earn that piece of paper and a degree, because you want to create a better life for yourself. And I think all of our families and our students want to do that. And so we balance both in the work that we do with our students. We want to challenge you in the classroom and outside the classroom, but we're also there to support you in that journey. And the career development area, we call it the Career Center at Stony Brook, is at the center of that kind of work, because they are the area that works collaboratively within the center, but also with other areas of campus to ensure that you build a very strong resume and portfolio. And that's one of the reasons why I love working at Stony Brook, because we want to see our students get involved in leadership activities, leading clubs and organizations, studying abroad. We've got an amazing study abroad office with lots of opportunities, amazing research opportunities with faculty. We're an R1 AAU research university, very prestigious. So we want you to get engaged in research. And then we also have a lot of other experiential learning opportunities, whether that be internships. We have our hospital right across the street. So many of our students are interested in healthcare and STEM, and they have great opportunities to volunteer in the hospital. And just so many more things. Oh, on-campus employment is another area that we focus on. So we have a fantastic team in the career space that do work with students from their very first year at Stony Brook through graduation to help you build your resume. Because when I was talking to students, I say, your resume has your name, your address, Stony Brook, your major, and your GPA. And then what's the rest? And that's student affairs. We are a critical player in helping ensure that the rest of the resume is filled out with great, great, meaningful experiences. And in fact, a lot of those experiences are connected to our amazing alumni at Stony Brook who give back to students like you, because they want to enrich your experience just the way that, and they want to give back just the way that they received mentoring and support during their time at Stony Brook as well. So those are the three key areas: are health and wellness, residence life, and career development is three main areas. But the fourth, and probably Dean Rick's going to say most important, is student life on our campus. And as I pass it to Dean Rick to share more about student life, I just want to say that the work that he and his team do is incredible. And it's really at the heart of everything that we do, because we want you to love Stony Brook, and he and his team work so hard every day to build that spirit and pride, and as he'll say, energy around everything that we do at Stony Brook. So let me pass it to Dean Rick to hear more about everything he and his areas do.
Thank you, VP Rick, and welcome everyone. I'm very excited to share with you an inside look at campus life here at Stony Brook University. As VP Rick said, we have a lot of folks around the Division of Student Affairs who focus on what will your experience look like when you decide to come to Stony Brook, starting with convocation all the way through commencement. The 4 years that you're going to be here, our team is dedicated to creating a vibrant, enriching campus experience. In order for that to happen, it's really about having students in the driver's seat to their experience. I went to college many, many years ago. So did your parents, so did grandparents, or you might be a first generation college student, and so you're navigating this for the first time. Everybody will have their ideas about what college experience you should have. We want you to chart your own path, and we want you to utilize the many campus resources across student life to help you build that, because this is about your journey and doing it at your pace. So what I'm going to cover is a lot of opportunities. I got a lot of visuals through this presentation for you to get a glimpse of what you can expect when you choose Stony Brook as your place of choice to come and get a great education. As VP mentioned, we are a #1 flagship institution in New York, and it is the best place to be. We have a 2-time, and we're working on our 3rd championship mascot, Seawolf. Wolfie Seawolf is our campus mascot, and 2 years in a row, he won the SUNY Mascot Challenge. And this year, we're going for our 3rd, and we want you to be a part of that fun. Amanda, can you advance the slide? Thank you. So when you come to campus and you say, yes, I'm ready to start my journey, we kick off your first week on the ground with New Seawolves Welcome Week. This is the time to make and meet your 5 best new friends that you're going to make at Stony Brook. We have, before classes start, tons of activities during the daytime and at night for you just to get acclimated to campus, feel like I'm ready to shake off high school and put on my robe and get fitted for the next 4 years. Because that's really what this is about. As you make this journey through your campus experience, we're really getting you prepared for commencement, to get ready for that robe that you're going to wear and walk across the stage with your degree. But to do that, we got to start at the very beginning. And so New Seawolves Welcome Week is just that. There's tons of programs throughout the week for you to meet new people, to look at campus resources, connect with faculty who are here to we do a session called Professor Tells All, and that's an opportunity to engage with faculty about how you show up in the classroom, and also how do you prepare to interact with faculty and different aspects of campus. Next slide. And so we have this thing called Wolfie's Welcome, where you will get a chance to meet a lot of our student athletes and get connected to our athletic games. You get a chance to meet Wolfie himself, hopefully throughout the week, but this is like Wolfie's big party, which usually happens on either the Friday or the Saturday of that week, which allows you and 3,000 plus of your closest friends to get together and celebrate that you've just done all you can throughout the week to make new friends, to get acclimated to campus life, to get your residence hall room set up, to take a look at all the resources to prepare you for the week. And this is like a big party to say, we've arrived. We are greeted by the provost, the president, and his cabinet and team members, and welcoming you to Stony Brook. So this is a big celebration to say, you made it, congratulations, now let's get started. Next slide, please. So it is very important to understand that at Stony Brook, every Friday and every major campus event, we wear red. Stony Brook Red Day is a big celebration on campus where you get to get a lot of swag, where you get an opportunity to take all the right selfies that you want to take to get your college experience started. Red Day is just that, a chance to celebrate with your closest friends, make new friends, but also show campus spirit and pride. When you go to football games, basketball games, any sporting event, you come with your red to show that wherever you come to Stony Brook, we're the campus to be because we are strong, we're spirited, we're prideful in our teams. And also, it's just a fun atmosphere and energy to be at these events. When you go to other events that I'll talk about throughout this presentation, we want you wearing your red. We want you to have that school spirit. Don't worry about wearing, old regalia and apparel from high school and middle school. Put on your robe, put on your apparel for Stony Brook and get ready to be full of school spirit. Next slide. So Wolfieland, this is one of our biggest carnivals, usually takes place in September, and this is organized by our Undergraduate Student Government Association. Their job is to take the student fee money and plan very vibrant, high energy campus programs. And so it's our carnival basically. And there's gonna be tons of activities throughout the entire day for you to participate in. And we will have several clubs and organizations. So if you're a person who loves a good carnival, Wolfieland is where you wanna be. We have several, last year we had over 6,000 students in attendance. And we wanna keep beating that record every single year. So this usually happen in September. And we even have sometimes graduate students show up too. So it'll be a good chance for you to kind of meet graduate students, probably get a mentor along the way as well. And also talk to somebody who might be interested in having fun with you at these events. The next event, it's not an event, it's a cool spot on campus that you really want to take a chance throughout the year to visit and take photographs with. We had an amazing alum donate to bring our very first Wolfie statue to campus. It is right in the middle of the academic quad. It is the fun spot to hang out in when you're just, on your way to class, you need a quick little break, take a seat on the Wolfie bench, take photos with Wolfie while he's there. And as you can see, several of our students are doing that right there. It is the best spot on campus, one of many that you want to really get your picture taken into. And we also have on campus in front of the the Stony Brook Union, a big red Adirondack chair that you definitely want to sit in. It's so cool and awesome to look at. Next slide. One of the best events I think families love is Family Weekend. It is a chance that in the middle of the semester for families to come back to campus and listen and learn and discover what have you been up to these past couple of weeks since you've been in college. And so we welcome all families to come back to campus just to participate in several events that we have throughout the weekend. And we start usually on that Friday night and go all the way through Sunday. But it's an amazing weekend to meet our Stony Brook president. They will host a brunch early on Saturday, and it's a chance for them to welcome families back to campus, hear stories about what you're learning and sharing with your families. A lot of the deans of the different colleges will also be there. So if you have questions about your major or advising in your major or just the path that you're on or ideas that you have, they're going to be there to listen and hear your ideas. And of course, VP Rick and myself will also be there because we want to hear about your campus experience and help you discover new things about campus or get in touch with or listen to ideas that you have and how to enhance campus life as well. So we want you to make sure that for Family Weekend, we've got our dates up on the website. You want to show up, you want to be present, and you want to have a good time. And we usually have a good number of families who do show up for Family Weekend. So we invite you to come back to campus for it. The Walk of Hope is a great opportunity to get engaged in service around campus. There's a great chance to come and learn about and become more aware around suicide and mental health and kind of end the stigma and give positive messaging to each other as a community and to show support the fact that when it comes to mental health and our wellness, this is important to us as a community. And so this is an event that I strongly encourage you to participate in. We do a walk around campus just to send that message of you're not alone, you're someone who's loved, you're a valued member of our community. And when you need resources, turn to us, ask for those resources. And it's a really vibrant event because it's important that we all recognize just how important these services are and how important we are to each other in our community. Homecoming, AKA Woolstock. It is a high energy, vibrant weekend, sometimes a week long, because we invite alumni to come back to campus. We have a major football game during that time frame. We bring the energy, we bring the spirit during that week. And so we invite students to participate in homecoming. It is a great opportunity to really be engaged with alumni, to network with alumni and meet these individuals, because there's great job opportunities that can come from this. But also, these are people who could tell you their stories about their experiences. And what I've learned from my time being here, when I connect with an alum who's like, oh, back in the day, we did X, Y, and Z, I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. And so I'll try to incorporate some of those ideas too. A lot of our clubs and organizations, they will host alumni and do activities too. So when you join a club or org, just know that you might connect that week with an alum who comes back because they have had a fantastic campus experience and they just want to see what the clubs are up to. And then, of course, we have a lot of families in the community who really support Stony Brook, and so they show up for homecoming too. So it's a welcoming folks back home and celebrating all that they've been doing, but also kind of reflecting back on their experiences at Stony Brook as well. Spooky Brook. If you love fright and you love all things scary and spooky, our student government, along with our student engagement activities, we have fun activities that we do during Spooky Brook, and we also do a big haunted house that is ran and led by our students. And so if you're into the fright of things, you don't want to miss it. It happens in our student activity center, and it is a big collaboration across campus. So, you know, we like folks to get dressed up, wear your best costume, and then we give out prizes and we do activities during that time frame. So Halloween is a really great time to enjoy campus life during the evening time. Light the Brook. As the weather shifts and changes around here, I'm originally from Charleston, South Carolina. And so for me, the winter is always a beautiful time around here. And one way we usher in is we light the campus, the whole entire academic mall area is well lit. And we turn the trees on and the light poles, and it is so gorgeous at night when we do this event. And so it's a way to usher in a changing of the season. And there's a lot of events and activities going on in student performance group. But I hope you get a chance to see it because it is truly a magical night. And it's kind of like going to a Christmas market almost. Winterfest. We know folks have been highly engaged all semester long in academics. And so a lot of folks stay here over winter break. And so we do very fun activities that are both fun and a little bit educational too. And it's called Winterfest. And one of the things that I love to do is cooking. And so some of these pictures are of me and my team doing teaching kitchens, which is offered through our Association of Auxiliary Student Services. They will host this event in partnership with Student Affairs. And so Anil, who's the gentleman in the middle, he organizes this entire event. And it's such fun because you can learn everything from how to play pickleball, to cooking, to crocheting, to just learning about things of historical nature and artifacts and whatnot. So we invite students, faculty, and staff to submit a proposal. And when it gets accepted, they go forth and they host something. And this past year, I hosted 2 cooking demonstrations with 2 of my students, one who is from Ghana, and he brought a soup over from his country and taught folks how to make that soup, and talked about the cultural significance about that soup from Ghana. And then another student who is Mexican Colombian, he also brought a soup from his family, and we talked about the origin of this soup and what it means to eat this particular soup during the winter season. So if you have a good idea and you want to find a partner, you can either do it with another student or with a faculty staff member, but it's a very high energy, exciting time during the winter because what else we're going to do? Siblings Weekend. Just like Family Weekend, the difference here is this is strictly for siblings. So if you got a cousin twice removed, or a friend that you call a cousin, anybody that you consider family, we want you to bring them to Stony Brook so they can hang out with you, so they can see what your college experience is like. And we hope that by doing that, you get to not only show off your campus life and what you're all engaged in, but maybe you inspire someone to consider college life, whether it be Stony Brook, we want Stony Brook, or anywhere else that they choose to go. But seeking out opportunities to be here with you and celebrate and enjoy campus life. We do a ton of activities during that weekend. And so if you've got somebody who's a family friend or a family member and you want to bring them back to campus to just hang out with you, this is a perfect opportunity to do it. Brookfest, another amazing concert that is organized between Student Life and undergraduate student government. Students are in the driver's seat for this program. Students are asked who they want to see at the concert, which is done every spring. And based on availability, based on who the campus selects, our undergraduate student government will try to book that artist. And so this is a big festival concert where student groups perform. We've had different artists over the past year come to Stony Brook. And so this is a very highly anticipated event where you get to see one of your favorite artists. One year, we tried to get Bryson Tiller here, and we had the contract all ready to go. But unfortunately, Bryson Tiller had lost his voice, so we had to find A Bookie, who came to campus during that time frame. But our student groups who are DJs and artists and performers, they all participate and make it a big show. So you want to be in the know about when Brookfest happens. So if you have a great artist in mind, you can bring them to campus too. Earth Stock. If you love sustainability, if you love our planet, you want to take care of our planet. If you love ducks, we do a lot of events that week where we partner with clubs and organizations, talk about sustainability, talk about healthy eating, taking care of our planet because we only have one. This is a great opportunity, not only for learning, but just to be engaged with our community and to do our part to take care of our planet and be educated on how we can best do that. And my favorite thing is the picture on the far left, on the bottom left, is we do a duck race. So everyone gets to put their duck in the pond, let it race to the end, and the winner gets a prize. So you want to have that lucky red duck during the duck race. And so it's a fun event. Great music artists and acts come out and perform. And then our student groups are just highly engaged through this whole process too. Roth Regatta. If you are a brave individual, and your VP, Rick, is a brave individual because he has been in this lake. So he would love to find other people who would love to join him in the near future. But our clubs and organizations, they imagine a big boat race between over 100 organizations. They build boats out of cardboard, duct tape, and prayers. That is all that you can use. And so our student groups will build a boat, put it in the water, and try to race from one end of the pond to the next without sinking. A lot of our groups are very successful and they make it to the other side and they work together as a team. Some groups, once they hit the water, it's a done deal, but they still have fun and it is a great energy that we have. Tons of vendors come out and participate in Roth Regatta, giving out free items and giveaways throughout the entire experience. The food is out there. It's like a big barbecue as well, or should I say a cookout. In the South, we always differentiate between a cookout and a barbecue. So when you come to campus, I'll teach a little bit more about that too. But Roth Regatta is a fun program, a lot of giveaways, and a very exciting time. So I'm talking a little about spaces and places. These are your spaces and places as students where you want to hang out, where you want to meet with your friends and just kick back, relax, study, and just enjoy campus life. So first up, we have our LGBTQ Center, which is open and available to all Stony Brook students and is located in Westside Dining. And we offer a lot of programming and affinity groups throughout the LGBTQ Center. So should you want to connect with resources and friends and also get some little bit of education on positive sexual health, the LGBTQ Center is the place to be. And if you're trying to understand and further your identity and your development, this is a great place to be as well. The Pit Stop, it's our commuter lounge on campus, with us having over 8,000 students who live off campus or who commute to campus. This is a great place to come, study, relax, connect with friends. We also have lockers in the space, vending machines. It's just a really cool, vibrant space to kind of hang out in between classes, or our team does programming in the space to connect commuters to one another. We have a strong team of commuter assistants, and we also have a strong team of commuter coordinators who support the commuter student, making sure that you have the resources that you would need when coming to campus. Everything from, ensuring you have campus tours, maps, understanding, how they get engaged in activities as a commuter student, what services do you need to be successful as someone who commutes to campus, but also just understanding what that life is like and how can we best support you. So you want to utilize this space. Is located in the library as well. Esports. This program is about 2 or 3 years old. It has been strong and vibrant by our students. They've been very competitive across the country, and they are just a vibrant group of individuals who are not only competitive in their esports, but they're also open to teaching others. So if you have a passion for gaming, this is the perfect spot that you want to join. And that is also located in our Table Art Center. So you can go check out and watch the competitions and can, in many cases, join as well. The Shore Club, a vibrant, newly redesigned space. This is kind of like the hangout spot where folks can reserve it for special events. We want students to know that this is a space that it may not be open every day in terms of a public use space, but we have it set up for clubs and orgs and departments to host really cool events here. So throughout the year, you'll be invited to this Shore Club to hang out for special events and programs and activities. And we want you to know that this is also your space to hang out too. So if you have good ideas, come see me. Let's make a partnership on how to best use the space. But it is right now reserve only, and we're working on ways to open up a little bit more where we can have music in there, mocktails, food, and just some, really good fun in that space. The Loft. This is in the upper dining area of the Student Activity Center. It's also been redesigned. We have about 5 to 7 televisions on the wall for you to hang out, watch your favorite TV show or athletic game, or just hang out and meet friends for lunch or dinner throughout the school year. This space has been redesigned in a way that not only allows for social engagement, but when there's those types seasons of midterms or finals, a great study space because it's really connected to the dining hall atmosphere. And we do a lot of programming with our clubs and orgs in this space as well. East Side Dining Patio. We love a good outdoor space where you can just kind of connect with friends, socialize, soak up those, UV rays during the good weather. But also, we host a lot of events out here as well. So we want you to know when the weather is nice, be outside, be engaged with other folks that you come in contact with. And also, there's going to be lots of events hosted in that space. This is located at Eastside Dining, right next door to the Stony Brook Union as well. Club Hub. This is located in the lower level of the Stony Brook Union. And so through the efforts of our undergraduate student government and advocacy by different students, we built our very first game room over 3 years ago. And we're always expanding and adding to it. And we want you to know that these spaces are for you. We've got everything from Mario Kart to a PlayStation 5, Nintendo Wii, Xbox, basketball, air hockey, and so much more in that space. We also have, in addition to that, a craft room. So if you're into arts and craft, you like making and designing things, the craft room is also connected. And we have billiards in that space, table hockey. There's just so much down there. So when you're, taking a break from classes and you want to meet up with friends, the Game Room Club Hub is the right spot you want to go into. The Unity Culture Center. This is located also in the Stony Brook Union. A great chance to participate in our diversity programs, heritage months, really just socialize with friends in a very unique space. It's been really redesigned based on the interests of students. And one of our former speakers for the New York Assembly was a very vital partner in helping us build this center. And so as you look to, further your knowledge about your identities and grow in your identities, the Unity Culture Center is a second spot on campus to help you do that. The Union patio is located at the Stony Brook Union, and the very far back of the picture, there's a big red chair there. The whole patio is open and vibrant for you to use. Again, we want you outdoors. We want you soaking up the sun, eating lunch, hanging with friends. And this is located at the Stony Brook Union, where you could just kind of connect with people. And this is a really cool spot for where we have food trucks sometimes as well. They'll be out there to offer resources to students. And then during Welcome Week, we do programming on this patio and throughout the year. Sometimes we'll even put a DJ, a student DJ, and some music outside just because the weather is nice and we want to see you out there socializing. And we also have Red Day activities out there too. And then lastly, the sculpture garden. Again, all of these spaces and places that I'm showing you, these are your spaces. We want you outside. We want you in these facilities, taking advantage of it, because this is a chance to not only connect with people, but also be in a position to really participate in the programs. Our student clubs organization, we have over 500 clubs and organizations on campus, and we want you to connect with them, and they're usually hosting their events in one of these spaces. We also recognize that throughout all of these spaces, we have to maintain them and get them ready for those events. So we employ throughout student affairs a lot of student employees to work in our facilities, to put on our programs, to provide services to students. So when you're in the Student Activity Center or you're in the Stony Brook Union or any number of our facilities, we want you to know you're going to come across a student employee in one of these spaces. And so if you ever need any resources, please do connect with one of them, but they do have a responsibility to take care of these spaces, and we want to have you join in on that as well. So utilize it. You're in the driver's seat to your experience, and we really hope that we get to see you this fall at Stony Brook.
I just have to say, I love the campus. It's so beautiful. And the picture of the spooky brook with the kid in the cow costume just cracks me up every time I see that photo. I love it. Thank you both so much. We have some great questions that are coming in, so we'll jump right into those because we want to make sure we give everyone an opportunity to get their questions answered. So the first question we have is, does being a student counselor or a peer counselor, I think they meant, count as work study? Rick, did you want to answer that one?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for that question. So let me just back up a little bit. So when you submit a FAFSA, it may include, based upon your financial aid award, it may include what's called work study. And so I mentioned earlier that through the Career Center, they manage student employment. And there are kind of two flavors of the employment. It could either be work study, that an office hires work study students. And the reason they like work study students is it's money that the federal government gives to the college campus to go to students who demonstrate more financial needs. So that's one type. You might say, if you're awarded work study, I would recommend accepting it and then look for a work study job on campus. You'll make an hourly rate, etc. Or you might see what's just considered a student assistant role, where a department hires someone, it's not a work study job, their budget's basically paying for those hours that students work. And Dean Rick mentioned Student Life hires lots of people, some work study, some not. It's a mix. So that's how it's laid out into the two options. But yes, in terms of a peer counselor, peer advisor role, some of them actually give internship credit, in fact, for academic credit, which is a great thing. And some may do a pay model, some may do a mixed model. So it really depends on the opportunity. All of these opportunities, and again, you'll become familiar with it once you enroll at Stony Brook. Once you're enrolled, you'll have access to what's called Handshake, which is on our Career Center website, which is where both internal hiring happens as well as even external hiring and opportunities outside of campus are available. So it's a great platform, highly utilized by students. And just to let you know as well, for anything that if you're looking for a job on campus, we do hire a lot of students to work on campus. And every fall during the first week of the semester, the Career Center hosts a wonderful part-time job and internship fair. So that'll be something you'll want to make sure is on your calendar to come to basically get a job on campus.
Thank you. The next question is, can you speak a little bit about how student life is on the weekends? I think we kind of covered that, but we could, go into a little more, given the number of students who commute versus those that live on campus.
Yeah. So we also have what's called Beyond the Brook, where we offer weekend trips to the city across Long Island because we want students to be engaged. While we want to have a lot of vibrancy on campus, we also want students, especially those who may not be from Long Island, to really explore the area and get familiar with it. So there's a lot of trips that we take. At least there's 2 trips that happen almost every weekend. But a lot of our clubs and organizations host a lot of events as well. But we also want to make sure that we balance that with just having the spaces and places for folks to just enjoy as is and meet friends and be in community with each other. There are a lot of athletic events that take place with the different sports that we have. The Stoller Center is also a great place. They do shows and they invite students to participate in those shows at very well reduced rates, if not free sometimes. But we do a lot of late night weekend programming between our clubs and organizations in our office, and we have our students putting out the schedule. So Campus Connect is our newsletter where we will talk about 2 newsletters that come out. One comes out at the beginning of the week to tell you what's happening Monday through Thursday, and then we do a weekend edition version of the Campus Connect because there's so many activities that go on. And if you don't see something through that time frame, we are always open to taking ideas because our student government has a bunch of grants that when students have bright ideas to kind of create those activities too. So if you don't see something on campus that that excites you, we want you to be in the driver's seat to create that as well.
Great. Would having a service dog on campus affect my college life or experience or my residential life?
Sure. I mean, again, thanks again for that question. So a couple of things just to share about. So for a service animal or what we call an ESA, emotional support animal, there's a process to go through. I mentioned SASE, which is our Accessibility Support Center, which is where you would reach out to that office to put in a request or an application for that. And that then would get reviewed. And so the answer to the question is if it's approved based upon the need, then it has no impact at all on your experience. There are obviously rules around service animals as well as ESAs, and that would be reviewed with you during the whole application and review process as well. But we do have both service animals and ESAs within our residential communities as well already. Oh, Amanda, you're on mute.
I've only done this a million times. How does someone join the student government?
Yeah, so there's a couple of ways. One, there's a lot of jobs within USG, and so one would apply through one of the executive positions to be on programming committees or staff support to some of the USG officers. So that's one way through employment. The other way is to run for a USG position. We have tons of senator positions, elected executive board positions, and our judicial board positions. So you can either run for office or apply for a job within USG.
Great. And could I do that as a freshman or do I have to wait?
You can do that as a freshman.
Nice. All right. And what about clinical research experience or shadowing a physician for medical school or health professions?
Sure. And as I was mentioned earlier, one of the things that I think is an incredible benefit Stony Brook is having Stony Brook Hospital be connected with the university. As I shared, they have a full volunteer and shadow program available. And so we encourage our students, we will connect them through the Career Center to the hospital in order to volunteer in that. And there are I've talked to many, many students who participated in volunteer opportunities. So there is shadowing opportunities available. We also have, just to let you know too, again, the hospital you can literally walk to, which is so convenient if a student doesn't have a car. But for students who do have vehicles, also, we do have more than 200 outpatient locations across Long Island. So those are other opportunities for some shadowing experience. And then the clinical research experience as well, obviously through the hospital, but other research experience. We have an area of the campus called Eureka, which is undergrad research and creative activities. We work very closely identifying where faculty have needs for student researchers in their labs, for example, and then connecting students to those opportunities. And again, these are obviously out of student interest, but they're incredible ways to strengthen a resume for application to medical school, or really any graduate study area.
I can answer this one. We have a question about admitted student tours or admitted Seawolf tours. So just to clarify, admitted students can come to either or both an admitted Seawolf Day, and those are March 29th and April 12th. And I'll post the admitted student events website in the chat for everyone if you want to bookmark that for later. We also have, in addition to those two specific full days of programming and tours, we also have separate 2-hour admitted student tours on various days of the week throughout the spring semester. But those are just a kind of general overview, an admitted student information session, and then a campus tour, which also includes residential tour. But the admitted Seawolf days are much more comprehensive, and they're from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So if you check out the link in the chat later, you can kind of decide if any of those dates work for you. There's also a link to the admitted student campus tours if you don't want to come to or can't come to an admitted Seawolf Day, but you'll get the general gist of campus in either of those experiences. One just has a lot more to choose from than the day-to-day tours. So hopefully that sort of answered your question, but you can always call us in admissions and we'll walk you through it. We have a question about, let's see, I think a lot of these are there positions similar to president in the student government? I would think there's a president, right?
Yes, there's the president, executive vice president, vice president of clubs and organizations, vice president for communications, vice president for university affairs, vice president for student life.
We have a question about living on campus and roommates. Rick, do you have that insight, or should I?
Yeah, so if someone identifies as a trans student, then as we mentioned, we do have what we call gender inclusive housing. I see in the question, it's not just held within only one building. There are areas of campus that are identified for gender inclusive housing. There are some, there's an application process to walk through that. I see the questions asking about being able to be in a resident with a roommate of the gender they align with. What I would recommend is that you actually email, we can put it in the chat, about email reside@stonybrook.edu. I don't want to give misinformation, but again, we've had gender inclusive housing for the last 5 years. So I would recommend you ask your question directly there. If there's something specific that you're looking for, just to understand. And we do work really hard to try to make sure that through roommate pairings, that it's the right fit for folks. We do allow people to select their roommate as well in that process, even as a first-year student. So again, but please email reside@stonybrook.edu with your question, and they'll be happy to get back to you.
All right. Now, we only have 5 minutes left, so I want to get a question in that I get a lot from students. Let me see if I can find, where was it? Oh, here it is. So if, how do I balance all of these experiences and studying and midterms and finals and being away from home? And, I know there's a lot of support, but how do students like get through this as a first year students? Do they come to you? Do they ask for help?
Yeah, I think my advice is we have peer assistant leaders. They're really your frontline individuals who are mentors to your first year experience. I would start with talking with them about how does one navigate through these resources, through the challenges of studying, working, being engaged, getting through midterms, finding yourself and your community is they're really there to help support you and guide you through that whole process. And as you go through the student experience at Stony Brook, again, as VP Rick mentioned earlier, we have the student support team. They're the professionals who are there to connect you with those resources on campus as you navigate. I'm not feeling well, and so I'm going to miss class. And what do I do with that? How do I let my faculty member know? Or I'm having some financial hardships and I don't know what to do. I need support. Whatever it is that you're going through, between a peer, assistant leader, your resident assistant, there are other mentors across campus. We want you to start that as a conversation of, hey, I need help, or I have questions, concerns, and allow the people around you to direct you to the right campus resource. Take things one day at a time. You don't have to think through every issue at every single time. Things are going to come at you, and life's going to be a roller coaster that goes up and down. And whatever idea that you have in your head about how to navigate college, take a moment and process that, and to some degree kind of let that go, because the plans that we have in our head doesn't always work out the way in reality. So you got to be a little bit nimble and resilient and flexible to adjust as things come at you. But it just always starts with the conversation and asking for help.
And any kind of final words of wisdom, encouragement, advice for potential future Seawolves who we really hope will join us at Stony Brook, but we want to make sure they make the right decision for themselves in all of your expertise.
Maybe I'll just add something that Dean Rick mentioned, that this is such an exciting time in your lives, but I know it's exciting. And I graduated from high school and college a long time ago, but it feels like yesterday. Because it's exciting, it's nerve-wracking, it's scary, it's exhilarating. I mean, it's all these words that just have this kind of range and mix of emotions. And I think the challenge is that in many ways, when you're used to your high school experience and maybe have a group of friends, and now you're going into what I would call this uncharted territory, what we call college. And my advice is, looking back on my own experiences, take initiative, make the most of your experience, go out of your comfort zone, go meet people who are different from you, go take a class that maybe was something you wouldn't have thought about. I mean, keep kind of challenging yourself through that, and realize too, as it was for myself in college, it doesn't happen overnight. And so no matter whether it's Stony Brook, which I love you to pick Stony Brook, but wherever you wind up going to school, just know there's always a transition period. And it takes time to build deep relationships and friendships with your classmates. And you have to give it time. I know my first week in school, I did not want to call my parents and talk to them because I was upset. The transition was really hard, and they called me and they said, "How are you doing?" And I'm trying to sound like it's great. Meanwhile, I'm crying on the phone. And and then I saw people write about student government. I ran for a student government position and I won, and life was grand. And so you will find your niche, you'll find your place, you'll find your home, you'll find your friends, but you have to put in the time and effort to do that. But we will wrap our arms around you at Stony Brook, and we will do everything we can to help you be successful. But really take every step of this journey as a way to build your resilience, as Dean Rick mentioned, and your strength. And we're here to support you every step of the way.
And the only thing that I would add to that is grace and patience. Give yourself grace as you go through this whole process. Every year of college is going to look different. And so give yourself a little bit of grace to know that you're going to get through this because you're going to have folks around you who want to support you and root for you, but also be patient. Not everything will happen in that moment. This is your journey. Don't compare yourself to somebody else's journey and what they're doing and how they're doing it. Be patient, follow your process. And just know that you're gonna get to the day in which when you put on that robe, because you've done all the things you need to do to get fitted for that robe, you're gonna be like, wow, that was an amazing experience, and I'm so glad that I did it.
Excellent advice, as always. Well, I want to thank, obviously, our extra special guests, Rick and Rick, VP Rick and Dean Rick. And I want to thank our wonderful audience for joining us. You have excellent questions, and I hope that this process goes very smoothly for you, that you enjoy the rest of your senior year. You only get one high school senior year, so you want to make the most of it. You don't want to have two, trust me. And we do hope to see you on campus, whether it's at Admitted Seawolf Days or at an admitted student tour, or just in general, maybe, you know, at Welcome Week. That would be great too. And if you need anything, call us in admissions. You can call 631-632-6868, and we will chat with you about anything you need to know as you kind of explore your options for your next steps in life. So
And Amanda, they're giving us love. We love you right back, everybody. Thank you.
I know, I love leaving the little webinar emotions on. It's very fun.
Love it.
Thank you so
Very
much,
sweet of you.
everyone. Have a great day. Bye,
Have a good night,
everybody.
everybody. Thank you again.
Good night.